The Buzz with Jess
We're back with
Lujan.
my in-studio guest, of course, Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr., with a bill that again looks at virtual net metering. So let's go back, okay? I'm renting an apartment. Okay, I got a 2-bedroom apartment. My buddy next door has got a studio. Okay, our place is not solarized. We don't have panels and all that. But I pay my power bill, okay? My power bill, my water bill comes in every month as well. I pay for that. It's not included in my rent, okay? With your virtual net metering, can I avail myself, if this happens, can I avail myself to virtual net metering?
Absolutely. You know,
How does that happen?
you know, and it's just like I know we talked about if you rent an apartment, a studio, or if you're in a complex. But it's even, you know, it can even be applicable to someone that rents a single family dwelling home. You know, that wants to be able to
Or
get
even a tin house.
our tin house, who wants to be, you know, who gets power now, buys power now from GPA, but now wants to lessen their power costs by availing themselves of solar. So once this is in place, that you'll be able now to avail of that.
So basically, this is kind of like the same way that GPA is operating right now in the sense of fossil fuel. Okay, they have a big generator, although this is a private entity. My company, okay, I moved from the apartment dweller. This is my company. I'm a solar energy person, okay, and so I've got X amount of acreage that I want to put solar panels and all that. And it's not necessarily for my building, but I've got acreage there that provides again 10 megawatts, whatever it may be, okay, providing that. And so your GPA will come in and assess this is how much it's going to provide. So I say, hey, Senator Rodriguez, your office is in Tamuning. You want to sign up for that? Okay, this is the X amount of power that he uses. Okay, you can connect to that. So basically, you people will sign up to the amount that's equivalent to what they're producing there,
That's right.
And you know, you're not going to sign up more than what this person or this one is producing, but to every company that has virtual net metering and that they're putting that much power into the grid, you can avail yourselves to power, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, when you go back to my house, I don't have to
Put the solar
to
panels.
put the solar panels. When I first came to get assessed, the solar people says, man, your house is not, I cannot put a solar panel, it's heavier than your roof. Okay, you can't do that. And you know, or apartment dweller, I'm sorry man, this is not your apartment. You know, the apartment owner doesn't want to avail himself to solar power. But I as an individual can avail myself. So if there's 100 people in the complex, maybe not everybody wants it, but 3 or 4 of you can. You don't have, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right?
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And so, you know, also I think that we have to look at the value of what the industry has provided our community, has provided GPA as well.
Yeah,
They've, I think this was, it was a very good testimony during the public hearing where they acknowledged the late speaker, Ben Pangilinan, who really moved to get this net metering going. From, I believe it was 2008 to where we're at today, the industry has grown, not as much as what they've expected it to grow, but
I was in the legislature when
That's right. Okay, and so the amount of power they were able to generate for us for GPA to be able to provide that power using solar, all at the expense of the private industry and not on the backs of ratepayers. You know, so those are the kind of things that we need to look at and celebrate. And with an expanded use of renewables and solar with this virtual net metering, we're actually going to be able to help the utilities in getting cleaner power online without having to borrow money to put in on the ratepayers. But you know what we do have to recognize is that there are costs, right? I mean, GPA, we can't eliminate GPA.
Oh, absolutely.
GPA is needed. We need GPA there. We need to use their lines, and so the solar power, the industry needs to work with them. But that all could be worked out on with this bill as we come together and develop the tariff and develop the mechanism to make this this program work.
Well, you know, one of the things, of course, when was it a year ago when, of course, the base generator had gone down the Cabras, right? And it's looking like I don't think the insurance company is going to
That's right.
to pay for whatever reason. I know we're renting power, right, or a emergency generator now. I think it costs $1 million a month right now. So anyway, that being said, I remember even to go back to the military buildup from the get-go. Now, one of the things that they seriously looked at the time with power was to segregate their power. They seriously considered that because of the reliability and the dirty power that they were getting. And I was in those conversations when that was happening. Well, they worked something out with GPA, and GPA, of course, the reliability of power, and of course a lot of cleaner power. But we're still experiencing situations right now, of course, of the situation of the units that went down. Okay, now again, it's going to be a very costly endeavor to put a very expensive again units back up. So I can't, and I'm sure the military as well, as one of the GPA customers, a big component, they're saying,
That's right.
wow, and they desired that. So at some point, again, if you're relying on something and you don't have the alternatives to come up with to provide that, they're going to say, hey, for national security's sake, we're going to have to do this. And like I said, they've already talked about segregation before.
That's right. And when a lot of times when people talk and look at solar, they say, well, you only get the benefit when the sun is out. Once the sun is out, there's no benefit to it. But technology has progressed. You have battery storage now that could work very efficiently with solar, right? And so when you look at what our situation is now with the power we need to generate, and a desire to generate clean energy, this is a perfect way to be able to put this in the mix in our discussions moving forward. Because and I keep going back to that public hearing because the industry, I believe, did a very good job in discussing and talking about the value of solar and what they have done with private investments to get us additional power, clean power into the grid. That's something we need to be able to expand.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think all renewables should be on the table to look at this, because solar now. What else comes in the future? I mean, look at the phones we have now. Remember when we first started, they were about this big, and even before then,
that's right.
You're like, we never dreamed maybe 10 years ago that we'd be looking at something like this.
That's right.
Yeah. So times are changing, and all renewables, because again, that's where the world is getting to.
That's
really.
right.
Congress is moving that
That's
way.
right.
There are all these incentives for renewables.
And I think the beauty about this is that we have states, you have other countries and jurisdictions that have started before us. So we can learn. We can learn from their mistakes, learn from their successes. And so that's where I really want this bill to be the center for the focus of the discussions.
And if I'm not mistaken, again, you looked at other states. You compared the other states, and again, your bill was written based on existing statutes from other states, right?
That's right.
I mean, you looked
That's
at
right. We looked at Hawaii's, we looked at California, we looked at some other states, and how we could have done that more localized to fit our system here.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, because when I discussed this with the two individuals that came on my show here, California, actually, virtual metering came as a result of a class action suit that came about because they were, if I'm not mistaken, I think apartment dwellers or condominium dwellers.
The discrimination.
Yeah, discrimination, that they were discriminated because they couldn't avail themselves to solar because they didn't have the real estate, they didn't have the rooftops to do so, and they didn't own the buildings. That's so right. they sued, and they won basically because it was a discriminatory practice. That how come you cannot provide that for me?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay.
Thank you.
Be back.